Louder.
I got it.
Ow. Gil, that clap was loud.
So we're jumping into it?
Yeah, we're jumping.
All right.
Anytime you're ready.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Geek Public at FOMOCon. I am your moderator for our first panel, How to Get Involved in Actual Plays. My name is Michael Powell, and I'm going to let our panelists introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Ryan Omega, he, him. You know me. I'm the host at Geek Public, but I've been asked to be part of this panel because I am somewhat knowledgeable about the subject.
My name is Gil Ramirez, he, him. I'm a blacksmith in the tabletop RPG kind of circles. I teach classes out of Anaheim, and I'm probably best known for the whole "Don't F me, Gil" on Critical Role. Yeah, that's me.
My name is Lemar the Con Guy, L-E-M-A-R-T, the Con Guy. I go by he, him, and pretty much I'm the funny black guy in a lot of shows. That's what my thing is known as.
Like I said, our first panel is going to be how to get involved in actual plays. I know a lot of people have been really wanting to jump into them, especially since I want to say 2018 Stream of Many Eyes is the kind of the kickoff of the actual play hype.
Panini. The Panini kicked it over.
The Panini's definitely part of that too.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
That was
It became monetizable in 2018, but the Panini made it explode.
Yeah, 2018 was an important time was because Dungeons and Dragons came out with their live D&D Stream of Many Eyes. And what was important about that was they actually built Waterdeep in a Hollywood studio where people walked through it and you saw grown men cry going through this, realizing this place is real, although many of us LARPers have been doing this for years.
It was amazing. I really wish they'd bring that back. I really want them to bring
God,
that back.
yes.
Well, they did bring it back a little bit with the Avernus release.
Sure. No, I'm saying like they had one previous too in Seattle. I forget what it was called, but they had one there as well.
Yeah.
That was the start of it.
Yeah.
The real start of it, but they only had a select few people there that were, being asked to attend and whatnot. And it was mostly live streamed on their channel. But I don't know what's going on over here.
Stop trying to be funny.
Stop entertaining us.
But definitely the Waterdeep was absolutely my favorite. Okay, so Avernus too, for sure. But Waterdeep, because it was the first iteration of that for me, it was because it was just immersive world, the way they did it. They had people going in and, able to interact with the NPCs or the PCs or whatever. That's what kind of made it for me. Yeah.
It was also such a community. There were so many people in that space at 2018 so that we didn't have the stratification of, I can't talk to this person now. In fact, there were many times when I was talking to people from Critical Role and it wasn't awkward. You could just talk to anybody in that group because we all realized we were all geeks. We all played Dungeons and Dragons in some form or another on stream. And therefore, there just was that common bond. Yeah. In fact, people still remember that bond even to this day.
And then, as most people do in this day and age, we try to figure out how to monetize it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
I can tell y'all are like TTRPG royalty because I didn't get to do any of that stuff in 2018. Me and my friends were still back in our kitchens trying to see if we could figure out how to use this Lego piece to be a beholder. That's what we were doing. We get to walk through everything.
I've done the ketchup packet as a little minifig.
Well, first thing first, I do really want to talk to Ryan here, who has actually casted many actual plays and honestly online LARPs.
Online LARPs, those were fun.
I want to say something like Blank Slate, which was a huge when it comes to online LARPs. How did you go around casting for a show like that?
Originally, Knox, one of the owners of Scabby Rooster, gave me a challenge and said, can you take this and turn it into a LARP? And I said, give me a week. And then I had to develop an original system that was based on being able to show a LARP on Twitch. Think of it in terms of black box theater and then give people the agency to determine what their storylines are. And the way I went about casting it was I just asked my friends, and people might say, well, how do you get into TTRPGs? Like, you might just need friends who are in that space.
Someone that knows someone, yeah.
Know someone that knows someone.
All of us kind of got our way into a lot of streams that way.
Know
Right.
somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody.
But at the same time, I wanted to pick people that didn't get the opportunity but had talent, which is why I asked you, pal, to play in Blank Slate, and you also kind of killed it a little bit.
Literally. Quite literally.
Quite literally. But then I also was able to ask you, Gil, and okay, so this is the weird thing about like just kind of like how our headspace is, right? I just thought that Gil is kind of too big to be involved, but I would be happy if he could play.
I'm not too big. I'm too busy, but I'm not too big.
Look at this humble brag.
But I love that you played such an evil character with depth and crying.
Oh gosh. I was broken really, really quickly, actually. I must say though, Jack did a really good role in that. I was supposed to be like, I went in there going, I'm going to kill this person. That's my job. Going to kill this person. And then the whole like, but please don't, puppy eyes, don't kill me kind of thing. And I'm like, fine, I'll give you a chance. Next scene, I'm talking about my father. I'm going like into the whole like trauma dumping kind of thing. And I'm like, wait, hold on. I'm a hardened badass, right? I don't know. What's my backstory? Oops. Okay, maybe I should, well, sorry, Ryan. You gave me a prompt.
But I loved it because every player has agency.
That's the best part.
And that's the thing that's really important about playing in TTRPGs is that it's a performance first. It really is performance first, which is why someone like you, Lemar, would be amazing in TTRPGs.
Honestly, yeah.
Honestly.
I love
it. Honestly, you've been killing it.
Thank you very much. I love TTRPGs because I am a craptastic script actor. And it actually is fed into like my DMing style and how I play games. If you give me like a first, second, third scene and just get there and make sure you hit these beats, I'll get there. And I'll move the energy with the improv I have. But if you give me say these words in this order, I have a lot of struggle with it. Which is why I don't know a lot of like the lore of like D&D and TTRPGs, because I'm so used to playing house games and made up stories and things of that nature. When you're able to improv through things and able to figure out how to move the energy of a scene, you know how to add and subtract what needs to be to make the scene move forward. Is this person having a big, deep moment? I need to step back. Still be present, but I need to step back. Is the scene falling flat? Let me step in.
Yeah.
That happens when you have like more improv training, but mostly it's just about having fun. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just talking.
You know what? I'm going to tack on to this panel how to actual play as well.
That's a good point. Yeah. There's a little bit of etiquette that probably unspoken. You should know how to know the beats, know when to pull back, like Lemar said, go forward a little bit and add a little spice and a little bit of humor if needed. It's like Lemar and I play in Leverage, LA, and that is a lot of fun. It's a whole game that I've never really had the chance to kind of play, but just watching this man do his thing, and I'm breaking down every single freaking 30 minutes, even if it's like he's on his deathbed, literal deathbed, and he's like just pulling out, like, God damn it, dude, like, okay, all right, but hold on,
so easy. So easy.
All I do is win. Well, Ryan, I actually do have a question for you because I know you cast a lot for a lot of different shows, not just Blank Slate, actual play right now. How will you go about casting for an upcoming D&D show?
So first thing I would ask the producers or whoever is your game master, storyteller, what kind of players are you looking for? When I say what kind of players, I'm not just talking about like their background, whether like gender breakdown, ethnic breakdown, because it's going to be diverse if it's me. Like that's just straight out. But are you looking for a serious tone? Are you looking for a humorous tone? But I also ask things like, are you looking for new players? Are you looking for people with followings? Are you looking for all of these things? Because I want to respect what they're going for. But I also want to encourage people that just because you're going with people who have followings doesn't necessarily mean you have a great performer. It depends on what their background is. If their background is theatrical, if they're not good at improv, like that might fall a little bit flat. So I always encourage people to always look for a variety of people. And barring that, who do you like role-playing with? Who do you like at your table?
Gotta have chemistry.
Gotta have chemistry, which is why it's important to have a session zero.
Yeah.
To piggyback off what you were saying,
Yeah.
when I've ever looked at casting an actual play. There's a few things I look for everyone I cast in beyond those things. Can this performer improv? Does this performer have an inner clock? Because the difference between just playing at home and playing on a stream is like you have 2 to 3 hours to get through everything that needs to happen today. Do you have the wherewithal to be able to play and keep that in your mind? And 3, does the DM have the ability to wrangle not only all their players, but also be wary of the time that you guys have? Because writing for a 90 minutes, 15-minute break, and then maybe another 90 minutes, that's a different skill set. Because there's so many people we know that are fantastic people, and if we're at home, I would play with them all day, all the time, every week. But there are certain people out there, and I know I'm being the Debbie Downer here, that have no concept of the show time.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some people are like, you know what? 7 seconds of dead air is enough for people to click off that channel.
Yeah.
So they cannot do that. They have to be super aware that they're on. And so I would rather that they make a bad decision and go fully forward with it rather than trying to pick the right decision and then stalling. Because the moment you stall in a game, you are killing the momentum and you lose viewers.
Very true. I want to piggyback on what you said earlier, Gil, about etiquette. One of the things I feel that's etiquette that is really needed at the table for actual plays is decide what you want to do on other people's turn, especially in combat.
Yeah.
You know,
Spellcaster.
So many times I've been on one shots and everything where we get to a person's turn and they're like, I'm not sure what to do. Started asking a bunch of questions and then their turn just gets dragged out. I always plan on other people's turn, what I'm going to be doing.
Now, in that regard, because like there's a lot of spells, especially in D&D, that have a name, and you think the name is just enough to be like, cool, I know what I'm going to do now. But you read the spell itself, and it's nowhere near what it's really kind of suggesting. And then you sort of like, oh crap, I thought the grease spell was grease. I thought it was flammable, etc. And then actually, oh crap, maybe if you read the fine print, you realize maybe not.
Yeah.
Sure, it may have been in previous editions or whatever. Things change and nomenclature changes. So make sure that you read up on your spells. Yeah.
I tell people, you don't have to know every single spell in the rulebook. Just know your spells. That's all you really need to know. I don't expect players to like memorize all the spells in D&D or Pathfinder, because that's honestly, I know people who memorize stuff like that, but that's a tall order, and I don't expect everybody to know that. But I do want to ask actually Gil and Lemar, you two, a question. Other than just having friends approach you saying, hey, let's do an actual play thing, how has other people approached you about joining their actual plays?
It's the friends of friends thing.
Friends.
My very first actual play was with a group called Dragons and Things. And we did it all the way back when Elite Lounge Live was a real thing. And we tried to stream that game way back then. And then what happens is they'll know that I'm friends with them, and then someone's like, hey, do you have time to jump over here? And then networking. Yeah. Networking is the best way, especially if you live anywhere near Los Angeles. Networking is the best way because TTRPGs aren't in the true casting phase of doing things. We don't post to like Craigslist looking for a paladin, looking for someone who can play a level 1 wizard.
That does exist, though. That does exist.
It does. That's the entire actually premise of the burlesque show, the D&D burlesque show I recently hosted.
Really?
Yeah.
For the PG-13 shows, I would say we're not at actors access level, right?
Yeah.
Most people are still, wow, that's a very LA thing to say. We're not putting up ads for positions. A lot of people are just, this is a cool person. They have this kind of energy. I would like them to play. Do you have time? Awesome. And that's kind of how at least how I got my stuff.
For me, like Omega Jones, which I miss you, buddy. I miss your face. I know you're at Gen Con right now, but we're at FOMOCon, so take that. I literally put a post out for Let's Get Wild Mount.
Yeah.
Back when it first started, and they're just like, I'm looking for a DM, and I'm like, oh man, I would love to be a DM. I don't know. I responded to it. I'm like, not me thinking about joining an actual play again. And then everyone that was kind of on the cast already was like, dude, do it. Go do it. Do it. And then I realized, oh, people are responding to me. These are the cast members. I didn't know that until I said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. Yes, it's been a while since I've been a DM. or at least in an actual play, like,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah, shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. I want to say, actually, social media. I've joined a lot of one shots and short, like mini series, limited series, by just answering, like, filling out forms on Twitter, which is now X, but that's a whole different thing. But yeah, just filling out saying, hey, I'm down to play, throwing my name down, shooting your shot. I also want to say, I don't know if like other people do like this, but I actually joined a streaming group where we were expected to, we were just going to play like 10 sessions, but now we've been playing for a year and a half now, and they just, out of nowhere, they just literally went into my PMs. Hey, you want to play Modern Age? Shout out to Johananon, and we're about to finish our second season and be jumping into Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's sometimes you just gotta shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot. Watch out for people's posts. So, hey, I'm looking for so and be like, do I want to, do I vibe with them initially, right? And you can do your own like vetting, like, oh, this person's really cool, but do I vibe with their, in general energy? And maybe you don't, and that's fine. You're more than allowed to say that or think that, and go, cool, maybe not for me, or maybe yes, I want to jump on it, and hey, like I want to shoot my shot, and like you said, you just go after it. Go after it.
So I do want to talk about shooting your shot, because there are many people who will shoot their shot at Critical Role. They will shoot their shot at Dimension 20, and the big problem is you don't have a relationship with them.
Yeah.
And
even I, who have a relationship, cannot shoot the shot.
the reality is a couple of things. Number one, you're talking about entire businesses. You're not just talking about a group of players, but there is a sense of, how do I get onto these actual plays that are famous, that paid? Like I've been on actual plays that have paid me, and I'm shocked.
Yeah.
You have to develop a sense, not only a business sense of how are you marketing yourself. They are going to be looking at numbers. The numbers are not as high as you think, though. Like people think, you have to have 10,000. I'm like, I know people that they got paid. They had like barely 500 people. But the thing that stood out to them was they were creators of some sort. They were creators of podcasts. They were creators of their own shows. They might be actors. They might be singers, cosplayers. But the biggest thing they were looking for is people who make their own content and people who knew to promote their own stuff. Yeah. They're always looking for people who knew how to promote things, which meant that you were vested in how to promote their content. So therefore, there was a certainty that these people knew what they were promoting. When you just go, hey, I want to be on this thing because you're looking for your own validation, that does not help them. And that sounds really blunt, but it's also very true. Yeah. It's knowing what you are in the entertainment business or any business and your image, and knowing how that image helps promote them as a business.
Yeah, I know whenever I get cast in an actual play, one shot or whatever, I promote the heck out of the show. I make
you do.
Almost.
You do.
I make sure
enthusiasm does help. Absolutely.
Exactly. And when I'm on the other side helping other people cast for their shows, I look at people who, especially if I've worked with them before, do they promote the show as well? Those are people I will go back to.
Yeah, like some red flags are, I ask you to be on a show, especially I've done so many recruitments onto my projects, and they don't promote people. They don't promote the show. They're expecting you to promote them. Those are all red flags. I'm like, I don't want to work with that because they're thinking, and I've heard this from people, well, if I get paid to be on a show, I'm like, look, they're not going to use you if you can't even promote your own basic thing. Like how would you even expect them to want to work with you? You have to have that professionalism already built into you before you get the attraction of all these big companies that want to work with you.
Yeah, and I'm not even, I'm talking about, you don't even have to be an expert at stuff like Photoshop or, stuff like that. Even a retweet,
exactly.
A couple hours before the show, a couple days before a show, I at least expect that if I'm on the casting side.
I might touch a controversial subject here: the money thing. Yes, pay people. Yes, pay people. Some things are allowable to have a budget, and therefore you should pay your people.
Yes.
but you should also do it not for the money. If you're going to want to play a D&D game or whatever game system out there and you're just passionate about it, do it for that reason. If you want to have a live stream in general, do it for that reason, just for the love of it. Maybe sponsors will come down your way. That might be cool, whatever. If not, that's fine. But if you are a company that is able to pay people, definitely pay your people.
Yeah, and I also do know that there are some streams that are unable, don't have a budget to pay their performers. That's
every stream that's able to pay their performers have someone paying them.
Yeah,
it's a sponsor and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
Let me just say this real quick. If you're starting an actual play, there's a few things you need to keep in mind. One, you do not have the money that Critical Role or Dimension 20 had behind them when they started. Those are lightning in the bottle shows.
Yeah.
Calm down.
You're not Critical Role, right? You don't be critical.
Two, consistency is what matters. If you say you're going to do the show on Mondays, do it on Monday. If you lose a person, do it without them. And three, you don't worry about the money in the beginning, because what you need to do is start building your audience, and doing that by just making a good show. So the only thing you really need to be worrying about is just making a show look good. Get your cameras looking decent. Don't buy a big fancy one, just make them look decent. Make sure you understand your tech. Stay with consistency. Post with consistency. The audience will come, and once you can prove that you can get an audience, someone will be like, will I give you $200 if you put our logo in the start of your show? And that's how it works.
Yeah.
I also want to add to this that keep in mind right now, there's so many actual plays and TTRPGs happening right now. So you have to think of a very quick marketing thing, and that is, if you cannot sell me or an audience member on your concept in 30 seconds, no one will watch it for 3 hours.
There's kind of an oversaturation on the market right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's so important that you have to be able to grab someone's interest in an elevator pitch. If you cannot do that with the concept, it's going to be hard for them to follow through. So keep in mind that the short, intense attention burst gives them the ability to look at you, but you have to then follow through with all the consistency, just as Lemar said.
Piggybacking off of what you said, Lemar, being mindful of our time. I'm going to be mindful of our time, so we got to kind of wrap this up. I know you have something to say, Gil.
Yeah, so one of the things is, let's say you're the dungeon master, or you're the game master, or whatever, you're a storyteller in general. One of the things that you should also incorporate as part of the etiquette are hand signals. Just that players may have hard stops, like, hey, don't ever talk about this. These are trigger warnings, etc. On Let's Get Wild Now, a lot of my players had a lot of similar ones, and a lot of them had individual ones, which I couldn't touch at all. Yeah, at all. And then there was a lot of soft stuff. Like, oh, you can have that element in there, but don't, like, you can have spiders, but don't describe it. Okay, got it. No worries. So I'm not going to sit there, describe the viscera and the venom and whatever. So, okay, whatever, cool. Gloss it over, whatever. Just to make it easier for the players. I'm not going to do, don't be a for one. Okay, after a scene, go, hey, are we good? And if they go good, or if they're, like, I'm not too sure, maybe you want to let them, set aside or whatever. Their mental health is far more important than your actual game stream. So, don't suffer puppet them a little bit too hard. Always check in.
As we're wrapping up, Lemar, can you give us your socials and where we can find you on the interwebs?
Hello, everybody. Again, Lemar the Con Guy, Lemar the Con Guy, on every social imaginable that was made before July 2023. Anything made after, I don't give a shit. Or you can go to LemarTheConGuy.com, find me on stuff. I'm in a creative hiatus. I'm taking a break for a little bit, but make sure you find me on whatever I'm doing on whatever social media has not been canceled yet.
So, Gil, how about you?
Same, but no, I'm actually, I'm just a little hash marker on top of it. I don't want to write all that out. No, you can find me at Gil the Vlogsmith. That's VLOGSMITH. It's a thing from way in the past, but you can find me pretty much everywhere. Unfortunately, except Twitter, because someone stole my original name, and it's But in any case, you'd be able to find it and whatnot. I'm on Instagram, on Blue Sky, Hive, all the new ones that he refuses to be a part of. Honestly, it's a bit much. In any case, you can find me at any of these places. I've got Instagram, Facebook, etc. I teach classes. Maybe you can learn something.
And how about you, Ryan?
Hi, you can find me here on Geek Public. You could find me at various places under Ryan Omega, including Facebook, Instagram. I just joined Blue Sky, but I don't know how much I'm going to continue with the X Parrot. Monty Python reference!
And as always, I am Michael Powell. You can find me all over the internet on my social medias, which is usually at Mr. Kapow. That's MrKapao. Or my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Michael Powell Does Stuff, because I do a lot of stuff, like my YouTube channel, Fantastic Tales of Adventure. This is Michael from Geek Public signing off from FOMOCon.
FOMO!